Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to season 13, episode 7, overall 667 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. I hope everyone is doing well on this Friday, February 20th, 2026, and I'm looking forward to our guest today. This is her first time on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. She was on my other show a couple years ago called the Small Talk Podcast. She is in her 9th year of the mayor. She's in her 9th year as Mayor of Burlington, and I'm happy to have her on again today. And she's been Mayor of Burlington since 2018 as well. So I have Mayor Marianne Meed Ward on, and we're going to talk a little about the local happenings of what's going on in the city of Burlington right now. We're going to bring on the mayor right now. Good afternoon.
That's great to see you, Chris.
Good. How are you doing? How's everything in Burlington these days?
We are celebrating the victory of the Canadian women's hockey team. Of course, 2 of the players for the silver medal winning team came from Burlington. Renata Fast, Emily Malte, trained right here in our community centers. We're celebrating them. I had previously given them keys to the city, our highest honor here in the city. And they've certainly earned that by putting all of us on the map. And you know what? Happy for all of our athletes at the Olympics. They're all doing so well.
And I think the one girl who scored a goal yesterday in the game that gave Canada a 1-0 lead was from nearby Oakville, I believe.
Yeah, we have a lot of local GTA talent on that team, so doing well. Lots to celebrate.
Were you able to catch most of the game or some of it yesterday?
I caught the highlights. Yes, unfortunately, work kept me away, but I certainly was paying attention to it.
And you were in a fundraising event last night, I believe, for children and families that are affected by mental health.
This is a new charity that's been started, and a great group of people, and this has really come out of the family's personal experience with mental health. So many families have been impacted and touched by mental health challenges, and so this is another example of Burlington residents coming together to stand by each other, support each other, and provide some unique opportunities for people in Burlington to look after each other and to look after family members who are struggling.
And also what's going on in Ontario as well is homelessness as well as increasing everywhere. And hopefully we can get the provincial government and the federal government to kind of help out as well.
Yeah, there's been some recent really solid research work from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. They've been tracking the growth in mental health addictions, homelessness. We see it on our streets, in tents, encampments, people that are living outside, living rough. And it's in every community, big, small, rural, urban, it's everywhere. And so they did some work recently to try to get a handle on how big a problem and a challenge is this. And what their most recent report showed is that homelessness is going up in Ontario, and that's the wrong direction. It was already very significant and a huge crisis in our communities. We've the Ontario Big City Mayors, of which I serve as chair, have asked the province to declare a state of emergency. We think it's that serious an issue across all of our communities, and especially now that it's gotten worse and that the numbers show it's going in the wrong direction. And about an 8% increase overall, much higher in smaller rural and northern communities where perhaps services are further afield for people to access, or it's a little more difficult for people to get the help they need. But what we're seeing is that our jails, our hospital emergency rooms are functioning as the temporary shelters, as places where people go when they're having a crisis. And that is that is having a huge impact on healthcare services, on police and enforcement services, and it's also if you're just looking at dollars and cents, it's about 10 times more expensive to deal with it in a reactive way once the problem is in your emergency room than to look after people in the beginning at the front end, providing appropriate shelter, temporary supports, wraparound services, and then transitioning people through up to independent living. Through that housing spectrum. But, keeping people safe and off the street right now is a huge challenge, and one that is getting worse every day.
Have you had any discussions with Premier Doug Ford or even the Prime Minister Mark Carney at some point?
So certainly our caucus through the Ontario Big City Mayors Caucus has had discussions with the appropriate ministers. This is an issue that we've identified, that there's about 20 different ministries that would touch some aspect of this. So we have asked for us, let's have a single point of contact or most responsible person to corral all of this, because it's partly a housing issue, which is one ministry. It's health and social services for sure. It's family and children's supports. It's mental health and addictions. And so you look at all of the different areas that this touches, you really need a coordinated response. And we've had conversations with all of those ministers and ministries. We've had direct contact, of course, with the Premier. He's aware. We at Ontario Big City Mayors launched about 2 years ago the Solve the Crisis campaign. It is still online. You can add your name, and we really asked the community, show us, come along with us. Tell your elected official how you are experiencing this, what you want them to do. And so people can still go online and write a letter to their local MPP. And it ultimately goes to the government around what action can be taken and how it's affecting people in communities big and small all across Ontario.
Is there a website people can go on?
solvethecrisis.ca. Thank you for asking. Yes.
No problem. And I wanted to ask you, how did you end up getting involved with this committee, and how many other mayors are on this chair as this committee as you are?
So the Ontario Big City Mayors Caucus is open to all mayors of communities that are over 100,000 in Ontario. So there's 29 of us that are in that just over 100,000 plus category. We meet roughly every 6 to 8 weeks, and it was that group that of mayors that said, look, we need to do something. We're doing our part. In many respects, municipalities had and are stepping up with dollars for supportive housing. Of course, we manage police budgets, and they are the ones that are doing a lot of that initial outreach to community with social workers and folks when people are in distress. So we said, look, we're doing our part, but we're actually being asked to manage an issue that is way bigger than municipalities' ability and resources to solve. We need the province and their ministries to step in. We need them to, really get serious about housing, supportive, wraparound supports. That's addictions, mental health counseling. The wait lists are too long for those kinds of services. And it did have some impact, I'm happy to say. So the government did announce shortly after our campaign, the Heart Hub. So this is the housing and wraparound supports hubs that are, in a couple of dozen municipalities in Ontario, but it goes nowhere near the need that is out there. It is a welcome response and a start, but as we were discussing earlier, the numbers show that the problem is growing even bigger as even with those resources being invested, the problem's even bigger. And there's also a role for the federal government. We need them because, if people are homeless, the solution is housing. And the federal government has stepped into that. They're talking about how they can, help with Build Canada and other measures to deliver housing to our communities and work with provinces and work with cities. So ultimately, the campaign is really a message that we're doing our part, but we need you to help us. We need other levels of government to step up and look after their areas of jurisdiction funding to really solve this crisis.
And also, do you feel the economy here in Canada has shrunk and has been affected by the tariffs as well?
There's no question that businesses across Canada, across Ontario, and certainly among our membership has been impacted. Burlington, like many of the big city mayors, has either auto or auto supportive industries.
Apologize. I do apologize. Sorry, that was an internet glitch.
Yeah, no worries. Do you want to start that over again?
All right, everyone, I do apologize. Sorry, technology. Yeah, if you're okay with that, I'm sorry about that. Technology, when it works, is great, but sometimes there's bugs sometimes too. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, certainly Burlington for sure, but all of our big city mayors and indeed the province and country have been hit by the impact of tariffs. Most of us have either an auto company or auto supportive industries like in Burlington. So we have steel making companies that provide the steel to Tesla. We have companies that manufacture parts that go into autos. So the steel and auto sectors, which have been really hammered by tariffs, have really been hit here in Burlington and beyond. So I sit also as part of the Auto Mayors Caucus because we have those supportive industries that help to supply the auto sector. So, when a factory closes, it isn't just that factory that's impacted, and that's bad enough. It's terrible for those communities and those workers. It's also all the organizations and companies that supply the auto parts. So there's a huge ripple effect. I will say that many of our businesses have found ways to kind of weather the storm, different ways that they have done it. So they're doing everything in their power to be creative, to work with local suppliers, to bring in a percentage of, let's say, American goods so that they can not have to pay the tariff when it goes back across the border. Looking at markets in Europe, which I know our government, our federal government, is looking at different markets around the world that would reduce a little bit of our reliance on the tariffs that the U.S. is imposing. So all of our businesses have looked at that, and for now they've been able to weather the storm. But every day this continues to go on, it gets harder for everyone, and ultimately. The tariffs are paid for by the consumer. So this means in an affordability crisis, which we're in, the costs of goods continue to go up for all of us.
Inflation, and also I wanted to mention this too, in the grocery store, they use a term now called shrinkflation, where everything is going up in price, but you're getting smaller sizes.
Yeah, we've all seen it in our grocery bill. There's no question that's just affecting everybody. And there are some cases where a pizza it costs more to make yourself because of the groceries than it does to get from the pizza shop around the corner, because they're able to get the ingredients in bulk, pay a cheaper price. It's really very unexpected what we're seeing in the grocery aisle. Very, very expensive for good quality foods.
What are your thoughts on small businesses and local businesses? Because I have a friend in Cambridge has a small restaurant, and they're struggling to survive just because the cost of food and everything keeps going up.
Yeah, our small businesses are really being hit, restaurants for sure, because if people are feeling the pinch financially, they're not eating out as much. And there's certainly been some research done on that to show the reduction in people eating out, dining out, entertaining. All of that has gone down because people are having to spend more of their money on groceries and essentials like housing, and there's not that much left over for those kinds of things. So this is really again that ripple effect to all of our businesses. And of course, what we were talking about earlier, if a company closes, an automaking company or a steel manufacturing company, all those people now don't have an income, and so they can't contribute to the local economy. They now rely on assistance from government, and so it just creates this huge spiral that affects all of us.
What are your thoughts quickly on AI? Because a lot of companies now are using more AI and downsizing as well, which is affecting the economy too.
That is the next frontier, and I don't think we're ready for the impacts of it. I don't have a crystal ball, but it is an issue that many people have flagged as something very significant that will affect our workforce. There's a place for I'll call it digital technology. It's digital solutions to things have been around for a long time, but as we get into AI and there's a machine that can do the work of an individual and do it faster, that has the potential to be as revolutionary and catastrophic in a way to the labor force as the Industrial Revolution was to what that was to farming. And so this is a challenge that I don't think we're prepared for, and we don't even know what's coming for us yet. But the issues are of concern. I do want to, it sounds all doom and gloom here, and I do want to say, look, there's ways that we can come together to support each other, and these are the challenges, and it's important for us to identify them and to know as much as we can what we're facing and to be clear-eyed about that. But I do believe that in Canada, we're very resilient. We stick together and we can find a way through this, as we have every other crisis that we've faced.
Mayor Meed Ward, this is your 9th year as mayor. Do you find the last couple years have been your most challenging as a mayor of a large city such as Burlington?
There have been challenges throughout. I was a year and a bit into my first term as mayor when COVID hit. That global emergency really required all of us to learn how to lead and adapt in a new way. And I would say the lessons that myself and others who had to lead through that time have really carried us through and are very useful now as we deal with another set of crises, the crisis of affordability, housing, mental health, addictions, the tariff threat from the United States, the threats to our sovereignty. I mean, there are issues at all levels of government that we're now having to face, and they're all coming together at the same time. And certainly the lessons around resilience and coming together and how we support community at a municipal level, even though some of these things are outside of our control, there's still a lot of things that we can do at the city level to support our community. That's one of the things that we all learned during COVID. So, I'm optimistic that we will get through this. We always have. We always will. And Burlington's motto is stand by. That's what we do in times of crisis. We come together. We talked earlier about a brand new charity that has just started to help families and youth struggling with mental health. That's what we do. In spite of these times of chaos and uncertainty, people are still finding ways to come together and support each other. And that's really the silver lining of this crisis and every crisis that I've experienced as mayor, including weather-related crisis, flooding. We had a situation in Burlington, multiple situations, once when I was a councillor, and most recently several floods during my time as mayor. So each one reminds you that we are resilient. We do stand together. There are things that we can do at the municipal level, even as we ask other levels of government to support us through these issues.
How much would you say you've evolved as a mayor in your 9 years?
Well, I would say it's night and day, pre-COVID and post-COVID. We were talking about that, you know, the lessons you learn in terms of how to lead, how to bring people along, how to communicate, how to navigate and support your community through an emergency are lessons that, you know, that stand the test of time and bring you through the crisis that we're now in, which is also not a crisis of our making. It's a crisis of affordability, a crisis of tariffs and international uncertainty. But, you know, we always find our way through, and we find our way through together.
What's 3 words to describe Mayor Meed Ward as a mayor? 3 words.
Compassionate, collaborative, and visionary.
What are your thoughts on Prime Minister Mark Carney and the job that he's had to do navigating with Trump and everything that's happening over in that country?
Well, what I've really appreciated is the steady hand. It's the calm approach that he takes. He's solutions and outcome oriented. He looks at the issues and then finds a way through, and is very reassuring. He doesn't take the bait when he's taunted by the U.S. president. He gets to work, rolls up his sleeve, brings people together. We really saw that when all of the leaders joined together to honor the victims of Tumbler Ridge shooting. But in many ways, you know, bringing people from different across the aisle, literally crossing the aisle, but people in other parties together to get the job of serving Canadians done. So, you know, that's reflected certainly recently in some of the polling that we've seen, that his approval rating around how he's leading through this crisis is shared by many people across this country. And I think what it shows us is that people are really looking for a steady, calm hand, action, solutions, not taking the bait or getting drawn into divisive commentary or back and forth kind of tit for tat.
Mayor Meed Ward, have you thought about in the future maybe running in provincial election or federal at some point, or are you kind of happy doing the mayor part in Burlington?
Well, I love serving the community as mayor. You can really see the results of your voice around the table in conversation and collaboration with your colleagues. You can see those results at, you know, at street level, right in your own community. And I can point to a number of things that have happened and that are here in our community because I was around the table and was able to advocate for that and to support that. So you know, I love serving at this level at this time, but the issues at the federal and provincial level are significant and are also an area where if I felt I could serve there, would consider it. The challenge for me, though, is I don't love partisan politics. I think there are good ideas in many different in different parties. I think working together, it serves us better than shooting at each other because we don't like the color or the party label that you're under. I have benefited and valued from relationships with people in all parties in my community. I'm very non-partisan as the mayor. I don't endorse or support any particular party. And in Burlington, we have representatives from both the federal Liberals and the provincial Conservatives. So very good relationships with our local MPP and MP, and that's how we serve the community best, is by coming together regardless of party stripe. So you know, nothing in my future in any short-term or midterm move. I really do feel privileged to serve the community as their mayor.
What are your thoughts on women in politics, and do you find there's more women now as mayors and politicians since you became mayor of Burlington in 2019?
At the municipal level for mayor, there has not been a significant change. There's only about 20% of mayors in this country that are women. That is very low. There are more women at the provincial and federal level, which is great to see women not only putting their name on a ballot, but also getting elected and staying. But it's not the same at the municipal level. It is still very male dominated generally, but certainly in the mayor's chair, we are very much in a minority. And I don't know all the reasons for that, but I do know that with politics becoming increasingly toxic, many women either are leaving. We had one of our local members of parliament say, I don't like the harassment that I'm getting, the death threats, being accosted in a grocery store. I worry about my family. She left politics, and we lost a really good voice. And there are women that have seen some of the toxicity that I've faced, the harassment, the abuse, the misinformation, up to and including death threats. And I can imagine that for some, that would give them pause before they would want to put their name on a ballot. So that's the challenge that we face. It's one of the reasons I launched the Elect Respect campaign and the pledge to, first and foremost, as leaders, pledge ourselves to treat each other with respect, but then ask members of the public to do the same and to support people when we see them under attack and being treated in a way that is just really anti-democratic at base. If we can't have good dialogue and debate about the issues we face because people are afraid to speak up, they're afraid of getting harassed if they have a viewpoint that isn't in the majority of the loud voices that are dominating the discussion, we lose out on democracy. We lose out on diverse perspectives. People leave the field, they leave the profession, and that matters a whole lot to me. And when you look at every elected official has been exposed to this, can be men and women, but for women it can take a particularly vile form of sexualized abuse, of attacks on your family. And for racialized, marginalized communities, they also get a specific and very toxic form of harassment, which makes it that much harder for those groups that already have barriers to entering politics to want to run and serve, but to stay in it once they're there just because of what they could be exposed to. So we have work to do as a country to make politics a place where there's good exchange of ideas, but we can leave the harassment, the abuse, and for sure the death threats at the door.
Have you, unfortunately, have you had death threats or harassment you've suffered as in your time as mayor in 9 years?
Multiple times, yes, including, about a year ago, someone threatened to set me on fire if I went to a meeting about a development application that they didn't like. I was advised not to go to that meeting, so that limits my ability to do my job. And, my job is to connect with community, to hear what they have to say, to learn about what's happening at these public meetings, and I was told not to go because of this risk. I was told to walk to work. I live fairly close, within walking distance. I was told, I was given security at all my public meetings, had police come and do security at my home. These are the things I never once imagined as the mayor of a mid-sized city that I consider very safe, and it is. We live in the safest region in the country here in Halton, but still these things happen. And it was really very shocking to see that in my own community. I never saw it coming. I didn't expect it, and that's just one example. There are others. That wasn't the first death threat. It wasn't the last. And then there's misinformation that gets spread online. There's personal attacks. It's there. It's alive and well, unfortunately, on social media. And so again, Elect Respect is a response to that, to say we need to stem the tide. We need to push back. And people describe politics as a blood sport. I don't accept that. It doesn't need to be a blood sport. We can have a vigorous exchange of ideas. We can debate, we can disagree. We do not need to descend into toxic behavior and worse.
Social media has a lot of positives, but there are a lot of negatives. Do you feel in Canada the government should police the internet a little bit more?
I think the platforms themselves have a responsibility to see how their own platforms are being used to, if it's a death threat, that's criminal behavior. I think they have a civic responsibility to, to really take ownership of what is being done on their own platform. I think we do have, legislation that protects against slander and criminal threats and things of that nature. But the challenge with social media really is the anonymity of it. It's very hard in some cases to track who is doing this. The rise of bots. So these are AI generated identities. These aren't even real people, but it makes it look like there's a firestorm if somebody wants to mess around. And again, that's the kind of thing I put the responsibility on the platforms themselves to take measures to make their own spaces places where it's real people accountable for their words, not hiding behind anonymity. And, we'll. I expect them to do something about that. They have a responsibility to do something about that. They're a business and they should be taking some of that seriously. And we've seen some measures being taken, but it's nowhere near enough. And the challenge with social media is that it only takes, it's seconds and it's free to spread misinformation. And there's the old saying that a lie is halfway around the world before the truth is even woken up and out of bed. And unfortunately, social media makes that much easier to spread misinformation instantly. And it is very hard to combat that after the fact, after it's out there.
Mayor Meed Ward, do you have 2 more minutes for a couple more quick questions?
For
And we'll
sure.
wrap this up. Okay.
Yeah.
Thoughts on voting and getting the younger people to vote and immigrants to vote? And I know when I was younger, I just never showed any interest in politics and didn't realize how much it could affect us and how important it is to be educated on politics, but also to make sure you vote. I just wanted your quick thoughts on, as a mayor and a politician, how you approach the younger people and the immigrants to Ontario into making sure they vote.
I try to do as much outreach into community, including grade 5 civics classes. And I recognize they can't vote yet, but I will say in the time that I've been a councillor and a mayor, which has spanned since 2010, a number of those people are now of voting age and are in community. And I hear from them from time to time that they remember when I came to their classroom and talked about what it was like being a mayor. I go to grade 10 civics classes. I, try to do my best to engage with young people. And to some extent, social media can help with that. But it's really not a place where you can there's other challenges, let's say, with social media. And so being accessible to young people, I've had interns and a day in the life mentors I've done with young people. And letting folks know what government does and that they have a voice. When I go to talk to young people, I tell them the youngest person to ever delegate in front of City Council about something she cared about was 5 years old. And it was about a development application on a golf course that she backed onto, and it was going to affect the pond. And she was worried about the turtles that were in the pond. If all this development happened, the pond would go and the turtles would go. And it really brought home the very tangible aspects of development and growth in the wrong place, which is what we don't want to see. But 5 years old. And so a lot of people don't think that they can make a difference or have an impact or even come to City Council and speak. And sometimes I ask the group, how old do you think you have to be before you can come and present to council? And they'll say, oh, well, 18, which is the voting age. And I say, nope, And then I tell them the story about Lila, who was 5 years old. So that's one way. But I do, when I go knocking on doors during campaigns and I meet young people, I do hear them. They have a sense of disillusionment sometimes. Why should I vote at all? What difference is my one vote going to make? And we've tried to make it easy in Burlington. For example, we're one of the municipalities that has online voting. But what we've seen is that hasn't really impacted the voter turnout. It's made it easier for people who already are motivated to vote to cast their ballot. They can do it online instead of coming in. So that's been our experience so far. And unless there's a big issue or a very contentious mayor's race, typically it happens at the mayor's level. That tends to draw more people out. But, for example, the 2018 race where there was an incumbent, there was myself, there was a member of parliament and another resident. There were a lot of eyes on that campaign and election, and there were big issues. There was about 40+% voter turnout. The 2022 race where there wasn't an issue. People generally were happier. There weren't people that were very well known on the ballot. The voter turnout dropped to about 28%. So it's staggering numbers. I mean, it breaks my heart that more people aren't feeling the need to engage and vote at that level. And municipal elections have the lowest voter turnout versus provincial and federal. And, that always is a bit of a mystery to me, because what we do affects what people do every day, literally the minute they step outside their front door. We're in charge of the sidewalks and the roads and the parks and the garbage and the water, and yet we have the lowest voter turnout. Even in a good year, that was still lower than what you see federally and provincially. So it matters a lot to me, and it's not just young people. It is new people to a community, new people to Canada who've just gotten the ability to vote. We want to make sure everyone knows why they should and has the ability to cast a ballot.
Mayor Meed Ward, as we wrap this up, the next the next city election, I believe, is in October 2026. Any plans to run for mayor again?
I will, I'll just say I love what I do, and I'll be making a formal announcement about my intentions closer to the time that nominations open, which is May 1st. So stay tuned.
What's a fun fact about Mayor Meed Ward that people in Burlington might not know about you? One fun fact.
Well, I love to hike. That's my favorite thing. And in fact, we moved to Burlington because we loved hiking on the escarpment and then going to the local watering hole, Emma's Back Porch, which is downtown Burlington, and has been closed, unfortunately, for a number of years. So hoping to get that up and open. But yeah, it was the conservation areas and the great local beer on the waterfront that drew me to Burlington.
And quickly, how important is the work-life balance as mayor? Because mayor can be a very stressful job.
There's no balance, I would say. The role is 24/7, and you kind of know that. But it is really important to find those moments where you take some time away, that you have some self-care, you have some time with your family. You have to build that time in and be very disciplined about it. It is important to step away. Take a holiday, take a break, take some time to just decompress from some of the stress, and then you come back stronger. So I'm a big believer in taking those moments to do some self-care. But you always come back, and even in those moments, they can be interrupted if there's an emergency, which I've had happen. So you're still 24/7. It's not a balance, but there's a way to do it that looks after your health and looks after the health of your family. But you have to be very intentional and very disciplined about it.
Any plans in the future for a book or your own podcast?
I've often thought about a book because I have many stories that I could tell, and it's therapeutic, I think. I wouldn't say no to a podcast, but my writer background dominates there, and I think about a book first.
Well, maybe if you have time in sometime this year, I would love to have you come back on again and maybe talk a little bit more about your writing career, as well as maybe a little more about the housing crisis in Ontario and homelessness as well. We could talk about
Absolutely.
that for hours and hours. But Mayor Meed Ward, I want to say thank you so much for giving us time today. And where can our audience again follow you on social media, and the best way of contacting you as Mayor of Burlington for those who are watching this live or on audio?
Reach out at mayor@burlington.ca, best way to get a hold of me, but I am on.
I do apologize. I think we lost our guest, Mayor Marianne Meed Ward from Burlington. She was just basically telling us how the audience can follow her on social media and the best way of contacting her as well. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to get the mayor back on, but I want to say thank you to Mayor Marianne Meed Ward from Burlington for coming on here today. So I do have her contact information down here on the ticker. And just 1 second, you can also do media requests to her chief of staff, Marie Nash, at Marie.Nash. That's Marie.Nash at burlington.ca if you have media requests for Mayor Marianne Meed Ward as well. So I do apologize, and I want to say thank you again to the mayor for coming on. Again, you can contact Mayor Marianne Meed Ward at 905-335-7777, or you can email her at mayor@burlington.ca, and she's also on XCOM, Marianne Meed Ward on Twitter X. And you can also check out the City of Burlington's website at burlington.ca. Yeah, I guess there's an issue with the Mayor Marianne Meed Ward. So yes, I can't see and hear you, but we'll wrap up the show. So I want to say thank you to Mayor Marianne Meed Ward for coming on here today. And I do apologize for the Wi-Fi technical issues. That does sometimes happen in TV, radio, and this show as well. So again, if you want to contact Mayor Meed Ward, if you're in the city of Burlington, you can call her at 905-335-7777, or you can email her mayor@burlington.ca. The website for the city of Burlington is burlington.ca. And I really want to say thank you to Mayor Marianne Meed Ward for coming on here today as we wrap up this show. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. And I'm going to let the mayor know we're finished. Yeah, I've already kept her over half an hour. So yeah, anyways, guys, I do apologize. Like I said, we are going to finish up, and I don't think I'll be able to get her back on here. So thank you to Mayor Marianne Meed Ward from the city of Burlington for coming on here, guys. And I do apologize for the technical glitches. So again, you can contact her through the website, burlington.ca, or you can, again, you can email her at mayor@burlington.ca. And again, 905-335-7777. If you have any questions or comments, you need to reach Marianne Meed Ward as well. So thank you so much for her to come on here today. And hopefully we'll get her back on again in the future. Before we wrap up the show, guys, I'm going to play a little clip from CHCH News in Hamilton. This is courtesy of CHCH News in Hamilton's YouTube channel. And this is a little bit about the homelessness housing crisis in Ontario's big cities specifically. And this is Marianne Meed Ward recently on CHCH News.
And getting worse. And of course, winter is now here, and that puts people's lives at risk on the street from freezing.
Burlington Mayor Marianne Meed Ward is chair of the Ontario Big City Mayors Caucus. They've been calling homelessness a humanitarian crisis for the past year and say the provincial government should now be raising it to a state of emergency.
Well, the numbers of people living on the street are growing. It is a combined crisis of affordability, mental health, and addictions, and lack of affordable housing.
In Hamilton, Mayor Andrea Horvath says the number of homeless has grown from just over 1,500 in 2022 to 2,073 this fall.
The situation is worsening. The humanitarian crisis is exploding, and it's beyond the capacity of municipalities. Has been for a long time, but it is getting worse, not better.
In a city like St. Catharines, Mayor Matt Cisco says the tents may not be as visible as they were, but the issue is still there, with as many as 70 encampments.
I don't think we're necessarily seeing a lot of movement on actually solving the problems. And that's, at the region of Niagara, I brought a motion saying we need to start putting dollars towards these supportive housing solutions. Because at the end of the day, like, shelter's not the right answer either. It's a Band-Aid solution.
The big city mayors say the provincial government has been helping with things like heart hubs to support the homeless. But they say the province has to come up with a lot more money. Municipalities are suggesting $11 billion over 10 years. As it stands, a Hamilton graphic shows the city paying for well over half of the cost of dealing with homelessness. The director of the hub in Hamilton that supports the homeless says an emergency declaration won't make much difference in the face of an overwhelming problem.
Overflowing shelters, overcrowded emergency rooms with nowhere to discharge, unprecedented demand for outreach teams, severe shortage of permanent housing and supportive housing units for the individuals that get turned away. This declaration really changes nothing about their immediate safety or their struggle to find a warm place to sleep tonight.
While the big city mayors say a state of emergency would put stress on the importance of the issue.
Well, first, it focuses the mind and the attention on the fact that this is a very severe crisis, and it underscores the need for urgency.
And there's another new sense of urgency today with a cold weather alert issued for tonight and a warning of temperatures in the -20s with a wind chill.
That clip was courtesy of CHCH News, and that was Burlington Mayor Marianne Meed Ward talking about the homelessness housing crisis going on in Ontario, and not just Burlington as well. By the way, I want to say thank you, besides the mayor of Burlington for coming on, I want to say thank you to Roman Jolbot. That's Roman Jolbot. He is the media and digital communication specialist with the city of Burlington. Roman Jolbot was kind enough to arrange this interview today with myself and Marianne Meed Ward as well. So a shout out to Roman Jolbot from the city of Burlington for arranging this meeting as well. And again, guys, media requests for the mayor. Marianne Meed Ward, general inbox is at mayor@burlington.ca, or you can email her, Chief of Staff Marie Nash at Marie.Nash@burlington.ca. So again, thank you to Roman Jolbot from the city of Burlington, media and digital communication specialist, for arranging this interview today as well. And I do have another announcement, guys, as we wrap up this show. The next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by BarryCullen.com. It's going to take place on Monday, February 23rd at 3 p.m. Eastern, with special guest Jacques Rougeau, WWE superstar legend and former Intercontinental Champion and 3-time Tag Team Champion. Jacques Rougeau is going to be involved with GPW Wrestling's big event on May 30th at the Slash Puppy Center in Gatineau, Quebec, and he's going to be a part of the 20-man Royal Rumble. So Jacques is going to tell us a little bit about this Legends event taking place in Gatineau, Quebec at Slush Puppy Center on May 30th. And maybe Jacques will give us a little bit of thoughts on the passing of recently of Hulk Hogan and the impact he had on the world of professional wrestling, not just the WWE as well. So looking forward to speaking to Jacques Rougeau this Monday at 3 p.m. And then Tuesday, the Small Talk Podcast special edition. I'm going to have Marlene Sharp and myself on Tuesday, February 24th at 8 p.m. Marlene and myself will be joined by special guest Kisha Reynolds, a hypnotherapist out of Philadelphia, and bikini chef from Los Angeles, Susan Irby, will be on as well to talk a little bit about her cooking as a chef, and she's also a real estate agent in Los Angeles as well. And Kisha Reynolds is also a certified clinical hypnotherapist as well. So looking forward to having those ladies on the Small Talk podcast on Tuesday, February 24th at 8 p.m. And then Thursday, February 26th at 7 o'clock, I'm going to have a women's coach and dating coach, Coach Glamazon on as well on Thursday, February 26th at 7 p.m. So I have 3 more great shows next week, more great guests lined up as well. And if you're somebody that has a unique career or story and you'd like to share it on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show or the Small Talk podcast, you can email me at cpame19@gmail.com or contact me directly through my DMs on my social media pages as well. And also, if you're a company and a business and you'd like to advertise on my platform, which is on 21 platforms and all social media platforms on video and audio form, again, you can reach me at cpame19@gmail.com or just DM me on social media as well. My prices are very reasonable and competitive compared to the radio industry. And my show does have over 644,000 views on YouTube. 71 countries around the world listen to this show on audio platforms, and I just reached over 10,000 listens and downloads on Spotify. So if you're interested in advertising your business, please give me a shout out at cpame19@gmail.com or DM me on these social media platforms as well. And as we wrap up this show, guys, again, the Cambridge District Humane Society on Saturday, April 11th, 2026, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, is having a fundraising event at the Cambridge Newfoundland Club, located at 1500 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. They're having a Prohibition Speakeasy fundraising event. Tickets are only $75 per ticket, and you can purchase your tickets at cambridgehumanesociety.org or visit the Cambridge District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Zach and Kat would be happy to sell you a ticket, or you can do it through their website as well, or you can give them a call. You can call the Cambridge District Humane Society at 519-623-7722. Yeah, 519-623-7722, extension. Actually, guys, you know what? All the times I've mentioned this, and I can't believe I forgot it. The phone number, again, I do apologize. I am 53, so I do have an excuse. The proper phone number to reach Cambridge District Humane Society, 519-623-7722, extension 0. So that's 519-623-77220, extension 0, to contact them about tickets as well. And by the way, if you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society. All the animals up for adoption, their profiles are on cambridgehumanesociety.org, and they have a wonderful selection of cats and dogs down there. They do a great job in taking care of our homeless furry friends. And I'm hoping to see Daisy, Christopher, Bernie get adopted as well. And there's a lot of cats down there too. So, and also, if you're not able to adopt right now and you want to help out with a donation, go to cambridgehumanesociety.org. They have an Amazon wish list, or drop by the shelter if you have pet food that you're no longer using. The Cambridge District Humane Society once a month is doing a pet emergency fund for people in the city of Cambridge who are struggling with the financial cost, the high cost of pet food these days as well. So if you're able to donate pet food, please check out the Cambridge District Humane Society as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And I am working on getting the show on TikTok. And also, there has been some issues lately with StreamYard and X or Twitter, whatever they call it. So hopefully they can get those resolved as well. You can also follow my media work on my website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. You can also follow me on TikTok at Chris Palme. Please make sure you follow, share, and like my content there. And I have more great content coming on TikTok this afternoon. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars, live streaming, podcasting, check out StreamYard.com. They have basic free plans, paid professional plans like I do. And if you're a business that does a lot of webinars or live streaming for your company, go to StreamYard.com and contact your sales department for business pricing as well. And yours truly, CDP, has been with StreamYard now for 5 years, and I give them a big thumbs up. So if you're looking to do webinars, just live streaming stuff, or podcasts, check out StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. The audio version is on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Finally, guys, you can email the show, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, at cpame19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you like my YouTube channel and my talk show media work, I am on paypal.com. Go to paypal.com, and if you want to support, just go to paypal.com, type in Chris Pame if you'd like to contribute, support my YouTube channel and my talk show work as well. And also my email is cpame19@gmail.com if you'd like to either PayPal me to support my work, or better yet, book a Cameo through cameo.com. Cameo.com, and type in Chris Pame, and I'd be happy to do your requests there as well. Finally, guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Threads, X, LinkedIn, Blue Sky Social, at Live with CDP19 on Blue Sky Social. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to Chris Pame, Live with CDP Talk Show on YouTube. Hit subscribe, like, and share. And I really appreciate that. And I also have a lot of YouTube shorts as well. So please check out my YouTube channel as well, and all my social media platforms as well. And we got some news today from the world of the Olympics. As yesterday, we know Canada lost 2-1 to the U.S. in the gold medal game. And today, Canada defeated Finland. They were down 2-0 in that game in the second period. Canada won 3-2. So Canada will advance to the men's gold medal game against the winner of Slovakia and the U.S., which is underway right now as well. So I'm most likely going to predict the U.S. to beat Slovakia as well. And again, the Pistons crushed the Knicks last night, 126-111. The Pistons swept the Knicks this year in 3 straight games. Cade Cunningham had over 42 points, and the Pistons now are 41-13, and they are off until Saturday night, when the Pistons travel to the Windy City to take on the Chicago Bulls Saturday night at 8 o'clock as well. And that is about it, guys. Again, I do apologize for a few technical issues with today's show, with today's guest, Mayor Marianne Meed Ward of Burlington. But I think our show overall went very well. And I want to say thank you to the Mayor of Burlington for coming on. And again, to Roman Drobot, the media and digital communication specialist in the city of Burlington, for arranging this meeting as well. And I want to say thank you to the audience for watching this show on my live stream platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, X, and Instagram. And also thank you to my audience on my audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and wherever podcasts are available. I hope everybody has a great day, a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday, February 23rd at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern with WWE superstar and legend Jacques Rougeau, a.k.a. the Mountie, former Intercontinental Champion and 3-time Tag Team Champion. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks again for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, hosted by Chris Pame.